to rebooting liberty.
K98Talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98 Talk. K98Talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98Talk.com.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny.
You know what time it is, so sit back and get ready for the Stafford Voice, your dose of conservative in a world of liberal.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, good evening. Man, you know what? I hope you are having a great time. You know what? I'm your host, Daniel Stafford, and you are listening to The Stafford Voice, where we are, yes, conservative in a world of liberal. Tonight, wow, we've got a lot of stuff lined up. We're going to talk about Hillary Clinton and the cackle around the world. We're going to talk about bacon and how it causes cancer. What the hell? New mammogram screening criteria. I don't know what's up with that. Yes, we're going to have some campaign roundup. We'll have some on this day in history. It's a really cool one. I actually enjoyed putting this one together and putting a little bit of research into it. That one was fun. Yes, obviously, somebody out there was a crybaby, said something that showed how stupid they are. And if you can muster up the courage to stick around a little later, you're going to hear my mad rap skills. That's right. I probably shouldn't have told you it was me, because you probably won't stick around. But you know what? Just wherever you're at, set this channel as a favorite. There are so many different ways to listen. Whatever you have to do, we don't want you to get left behind. And if for some strange, crazy reason you do miss the show, you know all you have to do is head over to Spreaker, look for the Stafford Voice, click follow. You will be alerted whenever we go live. You'll also be able to catch the replay. It'll be right there at the push of a thumb. It'll be right there on your phone, whatever your smart device is. So wherever you're at, just sit tight. There's no need to panic. I've got you. And in the case you aren't already following on social media, well, shame the hell on you. You can find me over on the Twitters at Stafford Voice. Again, that's at Stafford Voice. You can find me over on Facebook as well. All you got to do, just search for, yep, you guessed it, the Stafford Voice. While you're over there out on the interwebs, follow all of my good buddies with Politainment. You got Artist Angie. You've got Sam, a.k.a. Polita Bunny, or whatever she's going by today. Also, good old Pointless Poll. I mean, kudos to that guy. If you didn't hear, yeah, he's getting married. For the longest time, I thought he was married, and then he sprung that news on us, and wow, we were heartbroken. I knew that he was taken off the market. Anyway, speaking of off the market, ladies and gentlemen, my good buddy Jason. I love that guy. He has a heart of gold, and he is absolutely flippin' hilarious. The guy keeps me on the straight and narrow. I absolutely love Jason. You guys got to check out According to Me with Jason and Sam. They are on Wednesdays every week. Also, make sure you send some love to the station or whichever affiliate you're listening through. You can also stay up to date with anything and everything over at politainment.net and thestaffordvoice.com. Now, I'm not going to bore you with, since you're already there filling out the survey, I'm not going to do that. I've asked you to do it so many times, and most of you, I think, have filled it out multiple times. So thank you, and I love you, each one of you, for it. But I love each one of you more because I don't know if you know this, but this show is listener-supported and listener-funded. Can't do it without each one of you that's listening right now. And a lot of it is because you guys love shopping on Amazon. And being that you're over on the websites so much, Politainment or the Stafford Voice, whenever you get that itchy feeling like you're tired of reading all the good content or watching any of the videos or listening to any of the podcasts, you click one of the Amazon banners, you go over, you catch up on some Christmas shopping. Since it's like 2 months away, holy criminy, it's right around the corner, and wow, you've got to find something for your loved ones. You're already shopping on Amazon, so you've clicked the banner, and that's one of the ways that you guys have shared your love and kept us on the airwaves. Enough of that boring stuff. That's not why you guys are here. You guys are here because you want to hear something. You want to learn something. Also, you probably want to get mad. You want to cry. You want to laugh. And, well, you're probably going to throw whatever it is you're listening to, because later on this... I honestly couldn't believe that this a-hole said what he said, but we're going to save that for the end. As we jump into things, I want to touch on something. Excuse me, here in the Midwest, my allergies are killing me with all of the fall stuff that's going on and the leaves changing. It's absolutely beautiful outside, but one of the downfalls is allergies, and I every day I wake up with 5 pounds. I don't even know where it comes from. 5 pounds of nasty, yucky stuff, and I got to get rid of it, and today it's a bad day. Anyway, George Washington, his farewell address back in 1796, he warned us about the love of power and how it tends to create some despotism unless there are proper checks and balances. And you have to have a limit to the power of government as well. And he said, I quote, "It is important, likewise, that the habits of thinking in a free country should inspire caution in those entrusted with its administration to confine themselves within their respective constitutional spheres, avoiding in the exercise of the powers of one department to encroach upon another. The spirit of encroachment tends to consolidate the powers of all the departments in one, and thus to create whatever the form of government, a real despotism. A just estimate of that love of power and proneness to abuse it, which predominates in the human heart, is sufficient to satisfy us of the truth of this position. The necessity of reciprocal checks in the exercise of political power, by dividing and distributing into different depositories, and consulting each the guardian of the public weal against invasions by the others, has been evinced by experiments ancient and modern, some of them in our own country and under our own eyes." So again, what he's talking about there is he's explaining that if we're not careful, all of these different houses of government, these different forms of government, whether it's the judicial, the executive, the legislative, whatever the form of government it is, whatever branch of government, if we don't have enough of the proper checks and balances and we don't utilize them the way that they are put together, if we don't use them and we don't create enough checks, it's going to be a them versus us. And sadly, I think that's kind of where we're at now. It's everybody in Washington versus everybody else, us common folk. And you just have to be situationally aware of what's going on. And one of those things was last week, Hillary Clinton she got sent back to Washington, and we had another hearing on what happened in Benghazi. Now, there were 11 plus hours of audio. Hopefully, I've condensed it in. I condensed 11 hours of audio down into about 10 minutes. I'm not going to play 10 minutes because I went through that 10 minutes and I even condensed it a little farther. But what I've got for you tonight is the best of what happened during the Hillary Clinton Benghazi hearing. And it's going to highlight the best and the worst of what happened. It's sad to say that, you know, I teased about this in one of the show teasers over the weekend, that it's not over until the Clinton cackles. Well, it pretty much was over before it even started, because her whole demeanor, sitting there and getting ready to be eviscerated by Trey Gowdy, and God love that guy. That guy's a powerhouse. I mean, I'm sitting here, I was watching some of the footage of what was coming out, and it was absolutely mind-boggling at some points, but absolutely fascinating. It was almost like a scene out of when Jack Nicholson, he A Few Good Men, and he says, "You want the truth?" and then he just goes into it and lays it all out. I mean, his opening remarks was absolutely fascinating. So I want to play for you what I've put together, and yes, I realize it's about 5 minutes, so I need you to hang in there, because 5 minutes of 11 hours worth of 11 plus hours of testimony really does kind of highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly of what really happened. So check this out.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Glenn Doherty, and Tyrone Woods served this country with courage and with honor. And they were killed under circumstances that most of us could never imagine. Were there so many requests for more security personnel and equipment, and why were those requests denied in Washington? Public given such divergent accounts of what caused these attacks, and why is it so hard to get information from the very government these 4 men represented, served, and sacrificed for? And so the House of Representatives, including some Democrats, I hasten to add, asked this committee to write the final definitive accounting of what happened in Benghazi. This committee is the first committee to review more than 50,000 pages of documents because we insisted that they be produced. This committee is the first committee to demand access to more eyewitnesses because serious investigations talk to as many eyewitnesses as possible. This committee is the first committee to review thousands of pages of documents from top State Department personnel. This committee is the first committee to demand access to relevant documents from the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Defense, to uncover the fact that Secretary Clinton exclusively used personal email on her own personal server for official business and kept the public record, including emails about Benghazi and Libya, in her own custody and control for almost 2 years after she left. There are certain characteristics that make our country unique in the annals of history. We are the greatest experiment in self-governance the world has ever known. And part of that self-governance comes self-scrutiny, even of the highest officials. Our country is strong enough to handle the truth, and our fellow citizens expect us to pursue the truth wherever the facts take us. And we are going to write that final definitive accounting of what happened in Benghazi. They deserve the truth. They deserve the whole truth. They deserve nothing but the truth. We're going to find the truth because there is no statute of limitations on the truth.
You know, I would imagine I've thought more about what happened than all of you put together. I've lost more sleep than all of you put together.
I heard that night what you're doing, but nowhere in there did you mention a video. You didn't mention a video because there was never a video-inspired protest in Benghazi. There was in Cairo, but not in Benghazi. The attack starts at 3:42 Eastern Time, ends at approximately 11:40 p.m. that night. At 4:06, an ops alert goes out across the State Department. It says this: mission under attack, armed men, shots fired, explosions heard. No mention of a video, no mention of a protest, No mention of a demonstration.